Happiness is not a mystery. It's not something you search for your entire life only to hope it magically appears. Happiness is built. Happiness is engineered. Happiness is earned by the person who has the courage to face reality and the discipline to design their life with purpose. Most people think happiness means comfort. They think it's entertainment, scrolling on a phone, or escaping reality with distractions. That's not happiness, that's sedation. That's emotional sleep. Real happiness is the reward for taking responsibility for your life. Look around you. Weak people blame others for their problems. Strong people fix them. Weak people complain about circumstances. Strong people build their way out. Weak people avoid pain. Strong people use pain as fuel. The truth is simple. You cannot be happy without growth. You cannot be happy if you wake up every day stuck in the same place, thinking the same thoughts, making the same excuses. Happiness begins the moment you decide, I will take full control of my life. No more blaming, no more waiting, no more excuses. From this moment, you must become a student of life, educate yourself, train your mind, upgrade your skills. Because the world does not reward talkers, it rewards doers. Happiness is not something you wander around hoping to discover like lost treasure. It doesn't fall from the sky. It isn't hiding behind fame, money, or temporary pleasure. Happiness is built. It is constructed with intention, brick by brick, through discipline, purpose, and conscious choices. Most people make the mistake of believing that happiness is a destination, a place they will eventually reach when everything in their life becomes perfect. They wait for the right opportunity, the right relationship, the right moment. Yet years pass and nothing changes. Why? Because happiness is not something you wait for. It is something you create now with what you have, exactly where you are. The reason so many people feel empty isn't because happiness doesn't exist for them. It's because they refuse to build it. They allow life to happen to them instead of taking control. They chase quick pleasures, scrolling endlessly on social media, watching distraction after distraction, partying, wasting time, avoiding reality. But pleasure is not happiness. Pleasure is escape. Happiness is presence. Happiness requires effort. It demands that you grow, that you evolve, that you become someone worthy of peace and fulfillment. Real happiness begins the moment you realize it is your responsibility. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand it to you. Life will give you opportunities, but it will not give you happiness. That is something you must choose every single day. You build it when you wake up early and commit to improving yourself instead of wasting your time. You build it when you say no to distractions and yes to discipline. You build it when you push through laziness, self-doubt, and fear because you know that comfort will never bring you the life you dream of. Happiness comes from progress. It comes from seeing yourself grow mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. It comes from knowing that you are better today than you were yesterday. It comes from watching your actions align with your goals. It comes from earning your self-respect through consistent effort. Self-respect is the foundation of happiness. You cannot feel truly happy if deep down you are disappointed in yourself. And you know exactly when that happens. When you keep lying to yourself, breaking your own promises, wasting your own potential. But the moment you begin to fight for your future instead of running from responsibility, you feel something powerful awaken inside you. That is the beginning of real happiness. People think happiness is about smiling and pretending everything is fine. No, happiness is about strength. It is about resilience. It is about waking up with purpose. It is about earning peace through discipline. When you build your life with meaning and structure, you no longer wake up confused or lost. You no longer need validation from others. You no longer fear challenges. Why? Because you have built yourself to handle them. The truth is simple. Happiness is not found. Happiness is created. Discipline is not a restriction. It is the ultimate form of freedom. People misunderstand this. They think discipline means limiting their life, sacrificing joy, and living without excitement. But that is the mindset of someone who has never tasted the power of self-control. The truth is, the most dangerous prison in the world is the prison of a weak mind. When you do not have discipline, you become a slave to your impulses, your emotions, your laziness, your excuses. You wake up tired and stay tired. You plan but never execute. You dream but never build. Without discipline, life controls you. With discipline, you control life. Every person wants freedom. Financial freedom, mental freedom, emotional freedom. But few are willing to do what is necessary to earn it. Freedom does not come from avoiding responsibility. It comes from mastering it. Discipline is the bridge that takes you from wishing to achieving, from potential to power. When you develop discipline, you become dangerous, not to others, but to every obstacle standing in your way. You become the type of person who follows through, who locks in, who finishes what they start. Look at the people who complain the most about life. They are not disciplined. They are controlled by procrastination, mood swings, and lack of focus. They allow their feelings to decide their actions. If they don't feel motivated, they stop. If they feel tired, they quit. If something feels difficult, they walk away. That is why they feel trapped. That is why they feel lost. That is why life feels heavy for them, because they have no control over themselves. But once you develop discipline, everything changes. Discipline silences the mind. It removes confusion. It eliminates weakness. It gives you clarity and direction. Discipline is not about doing big things once. It is about doing small things repeatedly. Waking up early, training your body, sharpening your mind, reading, learning, working on your goals, keeping your promises. These small acts might look simple, but they are powerful. They build momentum, and momentum creates transformation. The problem is, most people seek motivation instead of discipline. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the wind, but discipline is permanent. Discipline is a decision. It means doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. When you build discipline, you build trust with yourself, and self-trust is rare in this world. Most people do not trust themselves because they constantly break their own word. They tell themselves they will change, but they never do. They say they will start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. They promise themselves success, but they sabotage it with their own habits. Discipline ends this cycle. It makes you reliable to yourself. And once you begin to rely on yourself, self-belief grows, confidence grows, happiness grows, because nothing brings more peace than knowing you are in control of your life. Emotional freedom also comes from discipline. When you discipline your thoughts, you stop overreacting to life. You stop allowing negativity to manipulate you. You respond with logic, not emotion. You move with purpose, not fear. You learn patience, resilience, and emotional strength. Suddenly, problems no longer break you, they shape you. Success is not about who is the smartest or luckiest. It is about who is disciplined enough to stay consistent. Discipline turns average people into leaders. It turns weak minds into warriors. It turns dreams into reality, because in the end, discipline is the path, discipline is the foundation, discipline is freedom. Your environment is either building you or breaking you. Most people don't realize it, but their surroundings shape their mindset, their beliefs, and ultimately their destiny. The people you spend time with, the conversations you engage in, the content you consume, the habits you normalize, these things silently construct your future. You may think you are strong enough to stay unaffected, but nobody is immune to influence. Your environment is programming you every single day, whether you notice it or not. If you surround yourself with weak, negative, lazy people who complain about everything and take responsibility for nothing, you will slowly become just like them. Not because you want to, but because your standards begin to lower without you even realizing it. Suddenly, skipping your goals feels acceptable, procrastination becomes normal, excuses begin to sound reasonable, the energy around you drags you down, not by force, but by comfort. Comfort in mediocrity. And the worst part is, most people stay stuck in losing environments because they value comfort over growth. But growth only happens in strong environments, places built on discipline, ambition, purpose, and resilience. Surround yourself with people who push forward despite challenges, people who are hungry for success, people who hold themselves accountable, people who wake up with goals and sleep with progress. When you align yourself with people who have standards, your life begins to elevate. They force you to rise, they challenge your excuses, they remind you what you're capable of, they don't let you settle for less. Iron sharpens iron, but you can't become sharp around butter. Your environment isn't just the people you know personally, it's everything you consume. If your social media is full of gossip, distractions, meaningless drama, and cheap entertainment, then that becomes your mental diet. Just like junk food destroys the body, junk information destroys the mind. A weak mind will never build a strong life. If what you listen to every day doesn't challenge your thinking, expand your knowledge, or drive you to act, then you are wasting the most powerful resource you have, your attention. Success starts with awareness. Look around your life and ask yourself, does my environment support my goals or sabotage them? Do my friends talk about ideas or people? Are my conversations about growth or complaints? Do I feed my mind with education, wisdom, and strategy, or meaningless noise? Your answers will tell you everything you need to know about your future, because you don't decide your future. You decide your habits, your environment, and your standards, and they decide your future for you. If you want to change your life, change your environment first. Remove yourself from places that drain your energy. Distance yourself from people who pull you away from your purpose. Upgrade your circle. Replace distractions with education, replace comfort with challenge, replace noise with focus. Stand guard at the door of your mind and let nothing weak enter, because when your environment is strong, you become strong. When your environment is disciplined, you become disciplined. When your environment believes in growth, success becomes your natural direction. Your environment is not just where you live, it is what you allow to shape your mind and your future. Struggle is not a punishment, it is preparation. Every challenge you face in life carries a purpose, a lesson, and an opportunity hidden inside it. But most people run from struggle because they mistake discomfort for danger. They believe that if something is hard, it must not be meant for them. That mindset keeps people weak. That mindset keeps people average. Growth cannot exist without struggle, because struggle is the sculptor that shapes strength, discipline, and character. Think about the strongest people you know, not physically, but mentally. They are not strong because life was easy for them. They are strong because they went through storms and refused to break. They learned survival. They learned patience. They learned resilience. Weak times create strong minds. Pain teaches what comfort never could. You do not grow when everything goes your way. You grow when life tests you, when things fall apart, when plans fail, when nothing makes sense but you keep moving anyway. That is where strength is born. That is where destiny begins. People want success without struggle, but that is like wanting harvest without planting seeds. You cannot skip the process. You cannot avoid the grind. If you want power, you must first experience pressure. Diamonds come from pressure. Muscle comes from resistance. Champions are forged in pain. There is no greatness without sacrifice. You must be willing to endure what others refuse to endure. You must be willing to stay disciplined when others quit. You must be willing to stay focused when others are distracted. That is how you separate yourself from the crowd. Struggle is not there to stop you. It is there to prove you. It tests how bad you really want it. When things get difficult, do you retreat or rise? Do you complain or conquer? Do you fold or fight? Your response to struggle defines who you are, and more importantly, who you become. Many people never reach their true potential, not because they lack talent, but because they lack endurance. They give up too early. They run at the first sign of resistance. They pray for an easy life instead of developing the strength to handle a hard one. Struggle also builds appreciation. You cannot truly enjoy success if you never earned it. If everything were easy, nothing would feel rewarding. When you fight for your goals, the victory hits differently. The peace is deeper, the satisfaction is real. You appreciate your blessings because you bled for them. You know the value of effort, and that makes you unstoppable. Life will always have pain, whether it is the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Struggle gives you a choice. You can either suffer now and grow strong, or avoid struggle and stay weak forever. The world does not admire the person who had the easiest journey. It admires the person who refused to quit. Hard times are not your enemy. They are your evolution. You will never know how powerful you truly are until you go through something that tries to break you and you survive. Struggle is not against you. It is building you into who you were meant to become. Success means nothing if you are not at peace within yourself. Too many people chase wealth, status, and recognition thinking it will bring happiness, only to discover that emptiness still lives inside them. Money is powerful, but it cannot heal a broken mind. Fame is loud, but it cannot silence internal chaos. Achievement is rewarding, but it becomes meaningless if you feel lost inside. Real happiness comes from building a life that is balanced, where success and peace work together, not against each other. People often misunderstand what real wealth is. They think wealth is only about money, but true wealth includes mental clarity, emotional stability, strong relationships, good health, and spiritual understanding. You can have millions in the bank and still feel miserable if your mind is full of anxiety. Your relationships are toxic, and your soul is exhausted. At the same time, being peaceful but broke is not the goal either. Balance must exist between ambition and inner peace. The purpose of success is to create freedom, not just financial freedom, but freedom of the heart and mind. Peace is not something that magically appears when life is perfect. Peace is something you build just like success. With intention and discipline, you build peace by being honest with yourself, by removing toxic influences, and by living in alignment with your values. When your actions match your beliefs, your heart becomes calm. When you stop pretending and start living with purpose, peace naturally enters. But when you betray yourself, when you chase approval, lie to yourself, or ignore your purpose, you will always feel empty no matter what you achieve. Happiness cannot come from a lifestyle built on chaos. Some people think overworking, ignoring their health, and sacrificing relationships is the price of success. But what good is success if you become a stranger to your own soul? What good is winning if you lose yourself in the process? Real strength is not found in constant motion. It is found in discipline, and discipline includes knowing when to slow down, reflect, and realign. It includes protecting your energy and your heart from anything that tries to disturb your peace. Your environment, your habits, your thoughts, these are not just parts of your life, they are forces that shape your peace. Surround yourself with people you trust, not people who drain you. Choose meaningful conversations over gossip. Choose self-respect over temporary pleasure. Choose health over bad habits. Choose clarity over confusion. These are not small decisions. They are life-changing decisions. Peace does not come to the person who waits. Peace comes to the person who builds a life they do not need to escape from. True power is inner peace. When your mind is calm, you think clearly. When your heart is steady, you make stronger decisions. When you carry peace within you, the world cannot control you. Distractions lose their power. Negativity cannot touch you. You stop reacting emotionally to everything and start living with purpose. Real happiness is not just about what you have. It is about who you are becoming. Real peace is not the absence of struggle. It is the strength to remain grounded through it. Most people think life is controlled by luck, chances, or circumstances, but that is just a convenient excuse for those who refuse to take control of their lives. Your life is controlled by your mindset, by what you choose to believe, by how you think when challenges confront you. The world is not divided between the successful and the failures. It is divided between those who take responsibility for their mind and those who let the world think for them. Everything begins in the mind. Every achievement starts as a belief. Every victory begins as a decision. Every transformation requires a shift in mentality before it ever shows up in reality. Your mindset is the filter through which you see life, and that filter determines your outcomes. If you believe life is unfair, you will find proof of injustice everywhere. If you believe you are capable, you will find opportunity where others only see problems. The truth is, your mind creates your world long before your actions do. An undisciplined mind produces a chaotic life. A weak mindset produces weak results. But when your mind becomes strong, your life follows. Everything changes the moment you decide to master your mentality. You stop reacting to emotions and start responding with purpose. You stop wasting time on complaints and begin searching for solutions. You stop blaming others and accept full responsibility for your path. Most people never reach their potential not because they lack talent, but because they lack mental toughness. They allow fear to delay their dreams. They allow doubt to destroy their confidence. They allow opinions to control their direction. They allow failure to end their journey instead of letting it fuel their comeback. Mental strength is not something you are born with, it is built. It is built by doing hard things even when you don't feel like it. It is built by embracing discomfort rather than avoiding it. It is built by overcoming excuses, fighting through laziness, and choosing discipline every single day. The greatest battles you will ever fight are not against other people. They are against your own thoughts. The war is always inside first. If you win there, everything else becomes possible. But you cannot develop a powerful mindset by living soft. You cannot become mentally strong while constantly seeking comfort. Growth requires challenge, and your mind must be trained like a muscle. Expose it to challenges, push it beyond limits, feed it knowledge, strengthen it with discipline, protect it from negativity, guide it with purpose. The moment your mind awakens, your life elevates. This is why your mindset must be guarded. Doubt, fear, laziness, and excuses. These are mental viruses that destroy potential. You eliminate them by replacing them with clarity, focus, self-belief, and determination. You must become the gatekeeper of your thoughts. You must choose what you allow to live in your mind, because whatever lives there will eventually grow in your life. A mind built on excuses will always find failure. A mind built on purpose will always find a way. Your thoughts shape your habits shape your actions shape your future. The moment you decide to think like a winner, before you have even won, you begin transforming your destiny. Because success does not begin with money, opportunity, or luck. Success begins with the decision to take control of your mind. Happiness is not an accident, it is not something granted by fate, and it is not reserved for a chosen few. It is a decision, a commitment, a daily practice of building a meaningful life. It comes from discipline, from purpose, from struggle, from growth, and from protecting your peace. It is not created in comfort, but in responsibility. Happiness belongs to those who earn it through action, who refuse to accept a mediocre life, who rise above excuses, and who transform pain into power. No matter where you are right now in life, lost, tired, overwhelmed, or unsure, you are not stuck. You are not finished. You have the power to rebuild yourself, to change your direction, to become stronger, wiser, and more focused than ever before. Your story is still being written, and you hold the pen. Everything you want, success, freedom, respect, fulfillment, happiness, it is all possible, but it will not be handed to you. You must build it. You must fight for it. You must earn it. And once you decide that you deserve more from life and are willing to put in the work, nothing will be able to stop you. Your time is now.